Boy, it's a beautiful day for football here in Indiana. 61 degrees outside and a beautiful stadium here. The host of this year's Super Bowl. The roof is open and we're ready to play some football. Let's go down to the third member of our crew, Drea Avent, standing by. Hello, Drea.
Hi, Ron. Well, a couple of injury updates for you. Joseph Adai is active, but he's only going to be used as an emergency running back. And first-round draft pick Anthony Costanzo will start. And as far as the Falcons are concerned, offensive lineman Sam Baker is out. But the biggest return is rookie Julio Jones. And I spoke to him before the game about his hamstring. He said it's almost back to normal. I asked him specifically about the explosiveness in his routes, and he said that that's coming along, and he wants to make a big impact today. And guys, we all know the fans are excited to see him back. But Jim and Ron, you know, I know, we've talked to his teammates, and those guys are more excited than ever to have this guy back, right?
Well, they're excited to have him back. I can tell you this, I'm really excited to watch him play today. You know, I had questions when they salvaged a lot of their draft for this guy. You watch him play, what a great player. We're talking to Tony Gonzalez last year, been in the league for 15 years, has seen a million people come through this league. He says, I've never seen a rookie as talented as this guy. You talk to Matt Ryan, he says, this guy is a beast. You talk to Curtis Lofton, the linebacker, says, this guy doesn't play like a rookie. I don't know how you match up with a guy 6'3", 225 that runs a 4.3. I can't wait to watch him play.
That's quite a statement coming from a player like Tony Gonzalez. Matt Bosher will get us going here. Joe LaFege is back deep. LaFege fumbled the opening kickoff last week, and this time gets stacked up inside the 20-yard line. Akeem Dent hustling down for the tackle. Curtis Painter, he takes over for the injured Peyton Manning. Manning with his third neck surgery, still trying to recover. The doubts as to whether or not he can actually make it back onto the practice field this season are still hanging in the balance. In the meantime, Painter, some good, some bad, but you have to agree on one thing, Jim. The kid is improving every week.
Well, the more reps he gets, the better he's going to be. Watching him in pregame, he throws a really nice ball. One thing will help him is get the running game going.
And they'll get it going with Carter. Carter subbing in for Joseph Adai, who's still battling a hamstring. He'll pick up 4 on the first carry. We talked about Painter. We just saw Carter. Reggie Wayne, the consummate pro, the veteran. 7 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Keep your eye on Pierre Garçon. He's been a factor at the tight end position as well.
And they get Costanza back, their first-round pick at left tackle. He just whiffed on the left side.
An early fumble. The Falcons say they have the ball. We're waiting for the call from Mike Carey. And it is Falcons ball.
Tough way to start the game at home. You know, you've been on the road, you come home. And Carter, you know, look, he's just holding. Start this way, boy, you know, it just puts a bad taste in your mouth. Let's see how their defense responds.
Lofton knocked it out. Ray Edwards, the big free agent acquisition from Minnesota this season, recovers. And here's a look at Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, great field position. Pump fake, the give to Turner, and Turner with a breakout. Turner with a great run, about 9 on first down, brought down by Antoine Bethea.
Look, the Falcons aren't going to run the ball every single down, but Ronnie, coming into this game, their game plan is going to be to try to pound it. The Colts have struggled on defense, stopping the run, and the Falcons in the last 2 weeks have done an outstanding job of running the football. Turner, the last 2 weeks, averaging 130 yards a game. So look for a big-time run game, and they're still going to throw the ball. When you got Julio Carter, Tony Gonzalez, guys like that, you throw the ball a little bit.
They call it 8 officially. Turner again, single back. He'll pound through for the first down, and that's one of the things that a lot of people say you should try to do against this Colts defense. You've got Mathis at one end and Freeney on the other. Go ahead and pound it right in the middle.
Right. You know, you're playing, Svitek is a backup tackle against Freeney. So the last thing you want to do is give a team hope. And one way you give them hope is you leave an inexperienced tackle against a really great player like Freeney, and all of a sudden there's a sack, caused fumble, and you got some hope. So you got to pound it and keep those guys eliminated from making big plays.
They'll pick up a 5, first down. Toss That's Jaquiz Rogers, and Rogers with a first down to the 1-yard line. Rogers almost punched it in. That's a pickup of 12. Rogers, the 5th-round pick this year out of Oregon State, only 5'6", but he brings the load.
Well, when you can hand the ball or toss the ball to a guy like that after pounding it up inside like they did with Turner, it's a completely different look for the offense.
Number 75.
There's a look at the points off turnovers allowed by the Colts. One of the reasons that they've struggled this season. First and goal, Turner. Turner, head down, will be short, won't quite get there. Colts defensive line steps up. Anger comes up with the ball, but he's marked down by contact.
Anger, now, you know, you talk to everybody, all they say is this guy is a tackling machine, and he came up with another one right there. This guy's fun to watch. Look at the tattoos on the arm. Looks like an American flag. This guy loves to play football. That's what you want a middle linebacker to look like right there. Little Fu Manchu going, fired up to play. 4
plays on the drive after the turnover, all running. No pass yet. Turner again. Turner pounds through. Falcon touchdown. So the early turnover by DeLon Carter turns into a quick 6, maybe 7 by the Atlanta Falcons.
And Ronnie, you said power football, and the play they just ran there is called a power. They double down, they pull the guard, they kick out with the backer, they scream for blood, and they hit it right up in there for a touchdown.
What do you say?
Hey, man, double down, kick out, pull around, and scream for blood.
7th rushing touchdown of the season for the burner Turner. And it all starts with the turnover. 11:38 just got started. 7-zip Falcons. The Falcons in the first quarter this season outscoring opponents 41-19. Turnovers helped that number a lot. Deep kick by Bosher. Lefebvre kneels on it, 8 yards deep. So Curtis Painter will try it again. Just getting started here in the first quarter. The Falcons now with 27 consecutive games with at least 1 takeaway. That's the longest streak. 4 takeaways in the NFL. A change at running back. That's Donald Brown subbing in for DeLon Carter. Carter, in case you're just joining us, fumbled on the first series. That led to the Falcons 7 points.
Good little burst there. Showed us a little burst up and through there. Donald Brown coming out of college was a guy that you felt like, you know, he could hit the hole pretty well and looked good there.
3-year man out of Connecticut, 1st-round pick back in 09. First pass of the game. That's Painter, complete to a guy who's kind of been the money man here for quite a while, Dallas Clark. 6 on the previous run by Brown, 9, and the first by Carter.
I'm excited to watch John Abraham working against the rookie Costanza. And I really like this linebacker group. Active, smart, and Dante Robinson, you know, he gets a reputation of maybe being a guy that plays dirty, but you know what? He just plays hard.
That's Dallas Clark for 9 in the first. Another quick throw backside. That's Brody Elridge.
Well, they've got a little something going here. And Ronnie, you know, you hate to say on a team's second drive how important it is, but when you're 0-8 and you just had a turnover and the team went and scored on you, then this drive is extremely important for Indy to get some confidence going, to get a little rhythm going, to say, hey, you know what, we can play with you guys.
Colts on the ball quickly. Down throw, Painter looking for the long corner route, and it's caught. That's the tight end, Pierre Garçon, the team's leading receiver. Grimes on the coverage, that's good for 15 in the first. We saw some old Peyton Manning check at the line there.
Yeah, really an impressive throw. by Painter because he had Abraham coming up into his face, and he delivered that on time and outside, away from the coverage. Garcon goes up and snatches it.
Colts moving quickly now. Brown again with a nice run. That'll be close to 9 yards and another first down. Ray Edwards on the tackle. It is 9.
And this is an important drive for a couple reasons. The first quarter has been a real bear for the Colts, and you see this: 13 points scored on offense, 31st, 65 points allowed last in the NFL. If they can get something going here early, it gives them a great deal of confidence.
Second and short, play action, looking deep, looking for Garcon, and it's incomplete, overthrown, intended for Garcon, but Grimes all over it.
I think some people might have thought that when they lost Peyton Manning, they'd move away from this no-huddle operation. Now, they're huddling here because it's a critical 3rd and 2, and say they want to make sure that they get the right play in, they've got the right communication, they're all on the same page, but they've been operating at a no-huddle pace. Now, not a hurry-up pace, not a 2-minute pace, but they like to operate up-tempo. And the fact that they're doing that with Curtis Painter indicates to me that they've got a lot of confidence in this young man's ability to make decisions.
Jamie Richard checks in as an extra offensive lineman, but a timeout called by the Colts. Play clock was running low. Mike Carey stepped in and held the snap for a second.
Number 61 reports as an eligible receiver. Indianapolis has not taken a team timeout.
Check that. No timeout taken, Mike Carey explains.
Here's Jamie Richard, who's an offensive lineman playing tight end. You're seeing a lot of teams do that in short yardage now.
Downhill run, 3rd and 1, and that's a first down. Brown, who subbed in since the fumble by DeLone Carter, has really been productive.
Well, good run there. Just watch him keep his legs moving and moving downhill. Earlier in the drive, patient, waiting for the hold to develop. They're just kind of putting his shoulders down and keeping the legs driving and getting the first down.
Backside pressure and a quick throw nearly picked off. Stephen Nicholas all over Painter.
Yeah, you know what it felt like there? It felt like the Falcons had said, okay, enough is enough. This is a nice drive you got going, but you know what? We're going to put our ears back here, and we're going to come after you. We're going to come after you a little bit. You know, Brian Van Gorder, who's the defensive coordinator, is an outstanding football coach in this league. They've struggled a little bit on defense. They're trying to find some consistency. I know this. As a coordinator, your mindset is usually, hey, when in doubt, when things aren't going great, pressure. And Brian will do that. He's an aggressive guy.
Plenty of time, second down throw in and out of the hands of Dallas Clark. You don't see that very often. Peyton Manning down on the sideline. Spinal fusion surgery, has had 3 in 19 months. That was all done to repair a damaged nerve that was causing weakness in his throwing arm. The speculation has run amok the last few months. Will he be able to make it back out onto the field, maybe even the practice field, before the season ends?
You see the little hand signals he was given there? I think there's some communication maybe between Peyton Manning and Curtis Painter that's going on
so, huh?
A little bit. I don't think too much. You know, I think if you do it too much, you take away from the concentration. But this guy right here, he's very helpful to that young quarterback, Curtis Painter.
.8:16 here in the first quarter, a third down coming up for Curtis Painter and the Colts. Pressure is picked up, looking outside, and it's intercepted. That's Kelvin Hayden, the former Indianapolis Colt, brought here in free agency in August. Comes up with his second interception of the season. 6 years here as a Colt. The pressure there by John Abraham.
They move Abraham over here to the left side. And they try to chip him now with Dallas Clark, which means get a little bump there. But he still gets enough pressure there that he forces a bad throw, and it was a bad throw. I mean, that's just not the kind of throw that Curtis Painter needs to be making there.
I mean, that's not even close.
Well, it was almost like it was predetermined. Yeah. He said, you know what, this is the guy that I'm going to go to come heck or high water, and he did, and he's paying for it there.
And ironically, he throws to Hayden, who had the identical spinal fusion surgery that Peyton Manning had. He was able to recover and get back on the football field. That's Turner for maybe one. The Falcons.
Well, I hope
about Matt Ryan there.
Yeah, I hope
Julio
they
Jones.
throw it eventually so we can see what Julio Jones does. But I'll tell you, the matchup that I'm interested in is Speed Tech versus 93 Freeney. That's going to be one to watch when and if the Falcons decide to ever run the football.
Speed Tech replacing Sam Baker then on that left side. Baker bothered with a bad back. 2nd and 9. Quick throw. Just a little early, intended for the guy you just got through talking about, Jones. Jones not ready. Ball had to come out quick with the pressure on the other side.
When you're a young guy and you miss a couple games, you got to get back into the flow of it. So, you know, as long as he doesn't drop another one, I'm okay with that.
You're all right with that. We talked earlier about the pressure Mathis and Freeney will bring on the outside. Anger leading the NFL in tackles.
Kind of a no-name defense when you look at the Colts besides Mathis and Freeney. But Anger in the middle, he's going to make plays all day.
Giving up quite a few points, 400. On an average per game. 3rd and 9. Wide open, that's Roddy White, and White will fall for the easy first down. He found the seam, 13 yards, they moved the chains.
Well, they're playing a zone here, which is pretty typical of the Colts on 3rd down. They like to rush 4 because they've got those 2 good ends that you've been talking about, Ronnie, and they'll play some zones. When you're playing a guy that's accurate like Matt Ryan, sometimes you got to snug things up because he will find those holes in the zone, especially the chemistry that he and Roddy White have developed over the years. You know, they're so in sync. They can find those spots in zones and convert the first down.
1st and 10, throw again. Checks it down, knocked away. Nice play there by Antonio Johnson. First game break of the day. Let's go out to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
Still no Andre Johnson for Houston. Still no problem, especially the way they run the football. Arian Foster getting it done normally. Right now, here's Ben Tate. 27-yard touchdown run. Houston already up 14-0 over Cleveland. They're just midway through the first quarter, Ron and Jim.
And that's of importance for the Colts there. The Texans leading that division by a game, 5-3 over the Titans. Turner trying the left side. Stout defense, no gain. Ricardo Matthews is there.
Really nice job up front. Now we're forcing another 3rd and long. When you're playing at home, when you've got 2 outstanding defensive ends that can really affect the passer, you're going to hear this crowd come to life here. All right, this is not the situation you want to be in if you're Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. And let's see what they do to help on the ends. You can look at this formation. They got to take care of that guy, and they've got some guys close to do it.
Ryan, ball knocked up, nearly intercepted. A great break on the ball by Thomas. Almost had to do the old tip drill intended for Roddy White, and that'll be punt time for the Falcons.
Let's circle the ends here, okay? A couple of really good pass rushers, but watch what Atlanta does. They put a couple guys in there just to get a little bump, just enough to knock them off their game now. Now, that was not Freeney on the left edge there, okay? So they're trying to change things up, Indy is, to get him the one-on-one matchups. So that was actually Anderson, Jamal Anderson, the old Atlanta Falcon.
Bosher, who handles the kickoff and the punt duties, will punt this one away. Some good pressure, but he gets it away. Garcon is back returning the punt, and Garcon taken down quickly. Nice coverage on the play by Sean Schillinger. Colts defense stepping up, 38 yards on the punt, no return. Here comes more, Curtis Painter. That's 3rd-year man William Moore. walking off the field. We'll get an injury update on him. Number 36, James Sanders, the free agent, 7-year man out of Fresno State, will replace him. First and 10 give. That's Brown. Brown with a nice cut. Well, the idea was good, but it closed up quickly. Nice play there by Sean Weatherspoon. The Colts have never lost to the Falcons here at home. As you look at their first 2 possessions, the first one ended in a turnover that turned into points for the Falcons. Colts leading this series 13-1, 6-0 here at home against Atlanta. That's Brown again for 2. Let's go down to Drea Avent.
Hey Ron, an injury update for you on Falcons DB William Moore. He has a thigh injury and I'm being told he's questionable to return, guys.
All right, Drea, thank you. Painter looking at a 3rd and 6.
Right.
Outside throw, that one's high. And that'll be 4th down, intended for Jacob Tamme.
Well, they've just got to stay patient, Ronnie. The Colts do on offense. They've got to continue to run the football. All right. I'd rather have a 3 and out and a punt than a turnover.
Yeah.
And their first 2 drives resulted in turnovers. So, you know, you don't have to make every play when you quarterback. Hand the ball off, all right? Be patient. Your defense is playing pretty well now the last couple series. Give them a chance to go out and make some plays. But don't turn the ball over. Those are deflating.
McAfee, who had a punt blocked last week, gets this one away. That's Weems, and Weems thought he had something on the right side. Philip Wheeler hustling down for the tackle. 49 yards on the punt, 4 yards on the return. Ryan coming up for the Falcons.
When you're a young quarterback like Curtis Painter, you've got your offensive coordinator, Clyde Christensen. You've got your quarterback coach, Ron Turner, but there's nobody more important to you than a guy like Peyton Manning, a guy who's been out there and done it, been MVPs of the league, of the Super Bowl, is as smart a quarterback as you'll ever find in the league. That's the guy who can really tell you what's going on.
And this guy knows what's going on. That's Turner. Turner having his way early here with the Colts defense right down the middle for 15. Bethea on the tackle.
Little draw play to the outside. It's really nice cutback. And this has been a problem for the Colts this year, are these 10-plus play runs. You know, those runs that aren't 20, they aren't all the way to the house, but they're deflating, and you lose leverage on the outside, and the guy cuts back, and you miss tackles. All of a sudden, you're in the chase mode the whole game. They've got to try to avoid that today. It could be a long afternoon.
Rodgers checks in at the tailback spot for Turner. He'll get the toss. Here comes a reverse, and that's Jones. Julio Jones finally healthy, and that's a healthy first down as they cross midfield. Bethea again on the tackle. And Mike Smith's teams have been very solid in the month of November. Since he's taken over, his Falcons are 10-4 in November. They were 4-0 in November last season.
Well, he's a remarkably consistent coach. Got a great demeanor for this level of play. And what I really liked hearing him talk about yesterday was we said, is this a trap game? He says, you know what, Jim, Ronnie, we don't even think of it in that terms. What we do is we go in on Wednesday and we present the strengths and weaknesses of the Indianapolis Colts, and then we talk about our standard, how we want to play on Sunday, not about our opponent.
Going deep, looking for Jones. It's triple covered, and he caught it. No. And he's saying, come with the review. Somehow Julio Jones came up with the ball with 3 Colts in the area.
Whether he caught this or not, this is absolutely a remarkable athletic play. Ronnie, he caught that ball.
That's a catch.
Well, the ground made it move a little bit.
But it can move as long as he rolls over and shows.
I don't know that
he's
the ball
got
ever
stability.
hit the ground. I don't know that the ball ever hits the ground here.
By the rule I know, that's a touchdown.
What an unbelievably athletic move. I mean, you talk about.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass is being challenged by Atlanta.
So there you have it. Mike Smith says, let me have another look. Julio Jones helped him make that decision. Catch or no catch, that's a heck of a play by Julio Jones. So we're in challenge mode here in Indianapolis. The call under review, the 50-yard touchdown pass or no touchdown pass to Julio Jones.
Well, Ronnie, we talked to Mike Pereira back in the Fox booth, and he says the thing to look for here is whether or not the ball ever hits the ground. We see the ball move a little bit when he rolls, but if you stop it right there and go back just a little bit, what you'll see is that it's pretty darn clear that Julio has his right arm under the ball, and I don't see the ball ever hit the ground. Now, he loses it a little bit there and recovers it, but the ball didn't appear to me to hit the ground.
After review, the receiver got control of the ball, went to the ground. The ball did not touch the ground. He maintained complete control. Score is good.
And that is the first career regular season touchdown for the first-round pick out of Alabama as everybody gets their dance on.
What? First of all, when you're Matt Ryan and you say, okay, I got double coverage back there, but I got this 6'3" guy that I call a beast running down the field. I'm just going to huck it up there and see what happens. Well, we just found out what happened. You know, you would expect that he'd have to go up high to catch it. We know he can jump and go up high to catch it. But how about the way he maneuvered his body between the defender and went down low and caught it, and then the confidence that he showed coming up right now saying, hey, challenge that. I caught that ball. That's right. A touchdown.
Between three defenders, he locates the ball, then comes up with the great catch. Bryant with the extra point. And the Falcons jumping all over the Colts here early. 14-zip. 3 plays, 79 yards. The longest pass play of the season thus far.
Yeah, Coach
for Matt Ryan.
You look at this, and Coach Smith isn't over there congratulating him.
I know
he
why.
might say
The
congratulations, but the dance, that choreographed celebration on the sidelines that these guys are getting, it's a good thing the officials didn't see that, because they're actually on the field. Now, you can do that on the bench. You say, no, no, no. Hey, and you know what? Great awareness by the head coach. He sees everything. He just made a challenge, emotional time, gets a touchdown, but boy, he turns around, he sees that, and he's on everything. That's one of the things that makes this guy a very, very fine football coach. He ain't getting a lot by Mike Smith.
Did you see everything like that on the field as
You
a
know
coach?
what? During a game, you are hyper-sensitive. There's not a lot that gets by you. I mean, you're aware of the crowd, you're aware of the clock, you're aware of the officials, you're aware of momentum. Obviously, you're aware of your opponent, you're aware of what's going on your sidelines. It's chaos in your headphones, but your focus is so crystal clear. Much like it is up here in the booth with you, Ronnie.
Relaxed and crystal clear. Bosher. And that will be a touchback. Lefebvre. Well, this Saturday, Fox Sports steps into the octagon with an epic heavyweight title fight as the #1 ranked contender in the world. Junior Dos Santos squares off with undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez in a must-see live event. You can only catch on Fox. Dos Santos, Vasquez for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World live Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. 2:51 here in the first quarter. Colts off to another sluggish start. An early turnover led to a quick 7. And just moments ago, Ryan hit the rookie Jones for a 50-yard touchdown strike that was reviewed and confirmed as a touchdown.
Ronnie,
that's Sean Weatherspoon.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You mentioned sluggish start, and that's been the case all year for these guys. And look at their first quarter numbers, and now these are updated. They've only scored 13. They've given up 72 first quarter points allowed. When you turn the ball over in your territory like they did on that first drive, you get another one, that's what happens. That leads to 1-8, guys.
Look at that, batted back into the hands of Painter. Now the hit on Brown, ball comes loose, a separation for an incomplete pass. Sidbury was the guy who initially batted the ball back to Painter.
Illegal forward pass. Number 7, that was a second forward pass, which is illegal. The 5-yard penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's inexperience right there, Ronnie. I mean, athletic move to catch it, but what you're supposed to do right here is knock it down. You just knock it to the ground, and you go to the next down. And you make it 3rd down and 10. Don't take a penalty. And he's learning. I mean, boy, this guy has a lot to learn. He hasn't played a lot of games in the National Football League. It'd be a guy that follows a guy like Peyton Manning. Now, I think Peyton will come back eventually, but to follow that legend, it's extremely, extremely tough. And this guy's growing. He's getting better.
Painter didn't play weeks 1 and 2. Kerry Collins signed for $4 million. Steps in. He gets injured versus Pittsburgh week 3. Enter Curtis Painter. That one caught. You could hear that with our Fox audio. And that's a nice catch for first down by Cauley, Austin Cauley.
You look at the left side of your screen here, Costanza versus Abraham. Abraham is an outstanding pass rusher. Costanza pushes him up the field. Then you saw Jeff Saturday, the center, slide to the left and open a big throwing lane there that Painter was able to deliver the ball through.
First and 10 run to Brown. Brown picking his way. Falcons doing a good job of staying in their gaps on defense.
That's what it's all about in defending the run. The important thing is that you keep your gap integrity. And that means if I'm responsible for being outside the guard, no matter what happens, I stay outside the guard. And that's what we're seeing out there down the Falcons in the run game right now. And that's why they're having some success stopping the run.
Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Pressure. Painter trying to get out of the pocket. Can't do it. That's a sack. Jonathan Babineau is there first.
Babineau. I like Jonathan Babineau. Really a good inside defensive lineman, active pass rusher. But Painter's got to get rid of that ball. You know, he held on to it. He felt things collapsing. What happens sometimes with a young quarterback, when they feel pressure, their eyes go down to the rush rather than stand up on the coverage and the route distribution. And then you lose track of where people are down the field. You panic a little bit and you take a sack.
First sack of the season for Babineau, a loss of 3. Pressure again. Painter looking, throws. It's complete. Let's see how they mark it. Looks to be enough for a first. That's Dallas Clark, and it is a first down. Lofton there on the coverage and the tackle. So with the quarter winding down, something positive finally happening here for the Indianapolis Colts. As Jim Caldwell looks on, they'll set it up with a new set of downs. And the second quarter coming up, 14-zip Atlanta. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Jim Caldwell took over for Tony Dungy back in 2009. He's put together 2 solid seasons, 14-2, 10-6. Says there's no magic bullet theory here. You just got to go back to basics and pull out wins. And that kind of throw right there won't get you many wins. Intended for Garcon, tipped there by James Sanders.
I'm not sure if he was looking for Garcon or the tight end, Tammy. Just, it was either overthrown, Ronnie, or it was underthrown. Either way, it wasn't a good ball. Now, it was a pretty pass, but it wasn't a good ball.
Brown with a nice running. Brown with a first down as he crosses into Falcon territory. Lofton on the tackle.
Good little quick hitter up the middle there. And I said this guy can find a hole and he can find it quickly. Good job by Saturday on the block. Gets to the second level, puts his hands down, or his head down, I'm sorry, puts his head down and gets the first down.
Switch it up, Brown will try the other side for a couple.
You know, Ronnie, you'd think conventional wisdom would tell you that you're down 14, we got to start flinging the ball. But it's early in this game. And the last thing you want to do if you're the Indianapolis Colts is put the game in the hands of your quarterback right now. So they've got to continue to run the game. If they can complete this drive with a touchdown, this game becomes close again.
Play action, 2nd and 7. A pocket of throws, got a man deep. That's Wayne, and Wayne just beyond his reach. People want the flag, and they won't get it. Dante Robinson in on the coverage.
Watch Reggie on Dante Robinson here, just gets a step.
There's no foul.
Yeah, I think you're okay not throwing the flag there. He put his left hand on his hip here, but he doesn't deter his ability to go out and get the football. And the main thing there is Reggie Wayne wasn't complaining.
Yeah,
you know how receivers are now. They want every call. So if he didn't ask for a call there, he probably didn't feel like it was enough to warrant a flag.
Third down throw, and that's high. So Painter off the mark today. He misses what would have been a touchdown or very close to a touchdown there for Wayne. And now he's got Garcon open, and it's over his head. And Peyton Manning wondering, what in the world can we do?
Well, really, those are two throws that you've got to make. The protection was good. He had a chance to separate from the pocket on both of those throws, and he's got to be able to make those throws accurately. Receivers are open. They run good routes. You've got to be able to put the ball on them.
McAfee will try to kill this one inside the 20. Got the back spin on it and a forward roll and a good roll. That one will fall dead at about the 14-yard line. 31 yards on the punt. 14-zip Falcons.
Today's game is sponsored by the Droid Razor and is no longer frail, only at Verizon. By Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, it never needs a battery, unstoppable. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Legendary steakhouse, St. Elmo's. Ronnie, I've been hitting that place for over 20 years. Every year I come for the combine. And how about the shrimp cocktail? That will knock your socks off.
Yep. Early here, just getting started in the second quarter. Falcons up. Michael Turner trying the left side. Pick up a 3.
Now, we're going to talk about this a lot, but watch Clyde Christensen here step out of the conversation, and Peyton Manning kind of takes over the conversation with the receivers, Dallas Clark, Tammy there. You got Garcon, you got Painter. You know, this guy is invaluable, obviously, as a player, but he's still going to coach him up. You know, he's still going to be a part of this thing. He's still going to try to help this team win.
Closer.
2nd and 7 run. Looking cutback was Turner. Thought he was going to come right down the lane there, but he pressed it front side, but picks up 4. Game break out to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
Big NFC South matchup going on in New Orleans. Bucks visiting the Saints. Lance Moore goes up and pulls that one in from Drew Brees, and New Orleans is first on the board. They're up 7-0 in the second quarter. Ron and Jim?
Saints going with the throwback, the old school.
That's right, a big game in that division. The Buccaneers have already taken one from the Saints, and the Falcons fans keeping an eye on that one as well as this one. Big implications in the NFC South division. 3rd and 3, quick throw, slant, it's there, and then some. Jones, as billed, he's already got 1 touchdown. He's going for another. Nobody's going to catch that speed. 80-plus yard touchdown for Jones. Well, you wanted him. There he is, Jimmy Moore.
I tell you what.
Hamstring bad or not.
You've seen 2 unbelievable plays out of this kid. First of all, his first touchdown in the athleticism, and then how about the speed right there? I mean, Ron, he's sitting up here. As soon as he caught that ball and you looked at the configuration of the secondary, he said, there's no one going to catch this big guy.
He's already got 1 touchdown today. That's on a 50-yarder that was reviewed. Now that one good. Officially, they call it 80 yards. And the Falcons just having their way with the Colts early here. 21-zip. And we're not even midway through the second quarter. Julio Jones, the first-round pick. You pay him that big money. You want to see it translate on the field. Well, it's translating. Look at the very short scoring drive. Julio Jones striking again. This is a guy that was out 2 games with a hamstring injury that he sustained week 5 versus the Green Bay Packers. But back on the field today, healthy and making big plays.
Ronnie, I said after his first drop, said I'll forgive him if he makes a couple of catches. He's made a couple catches.
You think?
Yeah.
This one will be taken out of the end zone. LaFedge chopped down quickly. Stephen Nicholas with the tackle. All Julio here in Indy.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Jones with 2 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. He probably should just get on the bus and head back to Atlanta right now.
No, Ryan. He's got some work to do still. Missed a few games, got some work to do.
His 3rd 100-yard receiving game for Jones. Brown stacked up. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, if you see that, they had Antoine Bethea underneath him, and then they got Turner over the top, but neither of them touched him. So if you're going to roll out there and you're going to double it, you got to hit him. Now look at this. This is beautiful. Watch him look up at the big screen here in the stadium. He wants to see how good he looks running into the end zone. I love the determination on the face. I love the awareness to look up into the big screen and see how good he looks. This boy, I'll tell you what now, this sucker, he can play.
I think he's a little fired up after that Alabama-LSU game last night. He wanted to take matters into his own hands.
No, he's only averaging 65 yards a catch today. That's not too bad. He's really fun to watch. And the thing in talking to their players about him that they respect most is his attitude and his work ethic. To a man, they came in, they said, this guy, first of all, he never presented himself as a rookie. He came in as a pro. He works like a pro. He listens to us. He has no ego. He just wants to be a great player.
Meanwhile, Painter struggling 2 for his last 13. Finally, there's a reception, and even more importantly, a first down. Reggie Wayne.
Painter can zip the ball in there. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the out. His problem, like a lot of quarterbacks that haven't played a lot in this league, is timing and accuracy, but he throws a nice ball. We've seen him throw a lot of nice balls right out on the numbers. What he's got to get better at is throwing it outside the numbers and deep. If he's given a chance to play, those things will develop because you do see some skill level.
First catch for Reggie Wayne, that last play, and that one Collie. Let's go to Los Angeles, an update. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, Darren Sproles continues to pay dividends for the Saints in their game today against the Bucs. Well, this is actually pretty easy. He takes a screenplay, runs it in, 21 yards, 14-0, Saints on top. Ron and Jim.
Well, I don't think they're missing Reggie Bush down there.
Oh, without question.
When you get a guy like Darren Sproles and the things that he can do in the pass game, in the run game, in the protection game, kid is special.
Brown now picking up where he kind of left off in the first quarter with a nice run. That's 10 yards and a first.
Well, when you watch this Colts offense, Ronnie, you see some really good things. I mean, you see the talent, you see some good runs, you see some good passes, but the problem they're having today, and I think probably throughout the year, is consistency. Just being able to maintain a drive and finish with points.
Brown putting his head down. They're without Joseph Adai, and Adai, he's been nicked up. Can't quite get on the field as a starter. He is active, but not ready to go. That's 2 by Brown.
This NFC South is a really tough and I think underrated division. We saw the highlights from the Saints-Tampa Bay game. We're watching Atlanta here. You're seeing 3 really good football teams. And then, of course, Cam Newton's making some noise in Carolina as well.
Quick screen outside, up and over. Nice tackle there, coming up hard. Former Colt, Kelvin Hayden. Pickup of 1.
It's always nice when you make a play against your former team on their sideline. It's a little payback.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like me enough to keep me? Okay. Well, here's what I can do. Got to try to stay out of these 3rd and longs. Let's watch Abraham up here.
They bring a safety late and a desperation throw. Luckily, it wasn't intercepted for Painter. No place to go, and on comes McAfee to punt.
Watch the replay. Abraham up the field, like you said, Ronnie, the guy off the slot underneath. Good pressure right there. Painter needs to learn a lot of things. Okay, I'm going to keep saying there's a lot of things that he does well. He's got potential, but there's a lot of things he's got to learn to do. And one of the things is slide up in the pocket and move away from pressure. You saw a great example of it there.
McAfee hits that one sky high. That one Should die well. And it does. Nope. They'll mark it into the end zone for a touchback. 54 yards on the punt. 21-0 Falcons.
Well, you'll see here that this kick appears to go out of bounds on the 1 yard line. It hits there on the 5 and then bounces, and then just a tough call. But you know why? Because the official's got to duck his shoulder.
I think it does more than appear. I think it definitely goes out of bounds. I don't know how you missed that call.
Well,
as a result, they remarked the ball at the Falcons' 1 yard line. So
they got it right.
Yeah,
Mike Carey and his crew is a very good crew. They might not get it right initially, but then they do get it right.
So the reset and a chance now for the Colts defense to do something. That's the first carry, first action of the day there for Jason Snelling. Snelling along with Cox replacing the injured Obi Mahaley, who was out for the season with a torn up knee. He sustained that 2 weeks ago on a hit up in Detroit.
Matt Ryan has only thrown 6 balls, but 3 completions for 143 yards.
That's pretty good average, huh?
Yeah, I think he's going to go to the sideline and say, hey, can we open it up? I smell a 500-yard game here.
Go tell Mike Malarkey, hey, Mike, come on now. Take your foot off the brake, right?
Let's keep our eyes on that guy right there, number 11, Julio Jones.
Slant inside, and it's picked off. This could go to the house, and it will. Touchdown. Gerard Powers with the pick 6.
How about that, Ronnie? Their first takeaway since week 3. They went 5 weeks without taking the ball away, but when they do, pick 6. Well, that'll get you fired up. That'll get you back in the game. That'll get your crowd into it. That'll get you feeling confident. That'll get you playing better. Those are the kind of things you like. I think here, maybe some miscommunication between Roddy White and Matt Ryan as you look at it here.
And this play is under review.
The last play with instant replay.
It is ruled a touchdown, and by new rules this year, it must be reviewed upstairs. But Powers, the third-year man out of Auburn, picked in the 3rd round in 2009. He jumps the slant and then has the awareness to realize he's not contacted and takes it in. And what is a huge play for the Colts defense, for the Colts team. The first interception of the year.
Watch this, Ronnie. Okay, this is great. This is when you play a defense a lot. Watch Powers and watch his hand here. When they motion to trips, which means they have 3 receivers away from him, see how he gives that little signal there with his left hand? He's telling Bethea, he says, I'm going to jump the slant. You get wider and cover me over the top, and it turns into a touchdown. That nonverbal, that just little, hey, left hand, hey, I got the inside. I'm going to take the slant. I know they love the slant away from trips. That's film study. That's communication. That's coaching. That's a really good football play.
You mentioned the takeover issue. The Colts, starving for a takeaway, came into the game -7 in the giveaway takeaway ratio.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed touchdown.
So it's all good, it's all clean, and that's the first pick 6 for Gerard Powers.
So that's film study, okay? That's recognizing tendencies. That's knowing that when a team motions to 3 receivers away from me and leaves me one-on-one with a receiver, especially a guy like Roddy White, they're going to come there and they like to throw it quick. Nice job.
So we have finally points on the board for the Colts. Hey, Fox tonight, there's going to be trouble in an all-new Simpsons when Homer goes head-to-head with Glee's Jane Lynch. Don't miss the epic battle when 2 Fox Titans fight for the same job. Catch an all-new Simpsons tonight at 8/7 Central, followed by an all-new Alan Gregory, only on Fox.
These are the plays, I'm probably overdoing it. I love these kind of plays because I coach defense and I coach the secondary, and when it works, you know, all week in the meeting rooms, they talked about this. They said, hey, if they motion to trips now, I'm going to give you this little signal, okay? I'm going to jump the short one. You take it over the top, and then when it works, man, the payoff is beautiful. tightens this game up, gives them a little confidence. Now we get to see Matt Ryan, how he reacts to a little adversity. And this is what you like. And you know what? You're looking at Matt Ryan. Look at his eyes. That guy right there, that's a competitor. That's a winner. He'll react the right way. He can't wait to get back on the field, can he, Ronnie?
Well, he was looking at the big screen.
He can't wait to get back on the field. He knows exactly what he did wrong, and he wants the ball again.
That one out of the end zone. Weems doesn't have a chance. Ron Pitts along with Jim Moore finally much needed points now for the Indianapolis Colts defense, stepping up with a big play.
Yeah, big play. You know, and we're seeing the Colts do some good things on offense. It's just a matter of doing them consistently and finishing the drive. Obviously, the turnovers have hurt them, but you get a pick six. Even when you're down 21-0, that changes the complexity of the game, and it certainly changes the emotion of your team. Now they need to back it up with a stop here in this drive.
This has been open all day thus far. That's Turner. Turner with about 8.
It's just a little inside trap or inside counter misdirection play, and it's opened up really nicely for Turner. And he's fun to watch run because he's got that big lower body. He doesn't pick his feet up off the ground. He kind of shuffles through. Leans into it and just kind of gobbles up the yards with power.
Turner 45 yards on 10 rushes today with a healthy 4.5 yard per carry average. Tony Gonzalez has been real quiet thus far. There's a switch. That's Snelling. Snelling, of course, the battering ram at 234 will pound through for the first down. And I mentioned Gonzalez is quiet. He hasn't had to say anything with the way they've been able to bomb it away to Julio Jones.
Well, the thing that he likes is he likes the fact that Julio Jones and Roddy White are going to occupy guys on the outside, because eventually it's going to open up things in the middle of the field for Tony Gonzalez. He's going to get his catches.
Hit in the backfield is Snelling. Nice play there, Antoine Bethea. Bethea gets a little shot to the shoulder late, but he holds the gain to 1.
There's a look at Gonzalez. Really fun to talk to him last night. What a pro. He has a great perspective on this game. He's played 15 years. We know he's headed to Canton winning. He decides to quit. I don't know that he's ready to quit playing, though. Boy, he looks young. He looks fresh. He's healthy.
2nd and 8. No catches for him yet. Here's a bootleg. He's got some crossers. There's Gonzalez. That one thrown behind it. Well, that would have been an easy catch and an easy first down. Ball not on target by Ryan.
Well, Ryan was rolling out to his right, and I think what he was trying to do is throw a back shoulder throw. Try to keep it on the back shoulder here. Watch Gonzalez release here and then head to the corner. He's going to keep it low because Bethea's over the top. I think Ryan was worried about leading him too much and putting him out of bounds, so he tried to put it on that back shoulder, but just left it way too far behind.
Big 3rd down. The noise comes alive here. Rodgers checks in. That one dropped, nearly picked off, intended for Gonzalez. Kevin Thomas almost had the interception. It'll bring up 4th down and time to punt for the Falcons.
Ronnie, big series for the Colts defense. They're backing up the interception by getting a stop. Give their offense a chance, maybe with some good field position. You got Garcon back there returning the punts, which is not something that's usual, but they're doing anything they can do now to try to gain yards. If it's a put a punt returner there that's normally a receiver, whatever it takes, you put guys back there that can make plays.
Garcon now back deep. Only his 3rd time in his career he's been back to receive punts. Colts trying to make something happen. That ball out of bounds around the 20-yard line. Well, this December, 2 of the most storied conferences in college football will culminate their seasons with 2 epic championship games. Fox Sports will bring them to you back-to-back First, the Pac-12 championship game is Friday, December 2nd. Then it's the Big Ten championship game Saturday, December 3rd. Both games only here on Fox. Boy, things heating up out there a little bit in the Pac-12. All of a sudden, the darn Bruins trying to play a little football, but Stanford running away with it. You know, there is a quarterback's name that's been mentioned around here a couple times, Andrew Luck, for several reasons.
Yeah.
With the injury to Manning, fans being impatient, suggesting maybe we should change courses. And there's a change of direction there. Austin Collie taking the ball north and south, moving the chains close to midfield. That's a pickup of 16.
You feel a little energy in this building right now, Ronnie. You feel a little bit of change in the atmosphere here. You know, the Colts, they got a little pep in their step. They're fired up about playing.
Take the handoff. Collie again. Great pursuit by the Falcons defense.
That's a little bubble screen. We talked to Mike Smith about it, and they were worried about that because it's a way to combat pressure. When a team's going to blitz, if you throw it out quick to your receivers and get a couple blockers out there and you get numbers, you can make a big play. They call that a jailbreak screen.
Jailbreak was good for 2. Pressure on the outside from the secondary. That one should have been intercepted. Grimes, we brought this up in our film study, Jim. He dropped an easy interception 2 weeks ago up in Detroit. That time had it in his hands.
Well, Grimes has become a very good football player in this league, and he doesn't drop a lot of ball. He's a guy that'll take some chances. He plays aggressive. I coached him early in his career. He's got a lot of confidence in his ability out there. He typically is going to catch those balls and will make something happen after the catch.
He could have made a lot happen on that one. Maybe take him to the house flag.
Offense number 31, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, that's on the running back, Donald Brown.
We haven't seen Carter, I don't believe, since the fumble.
We have.
And the way Brown's playing, there's no reason to put him in. Brown has played well. He's averaging 4.3 a carry. He's pounding it up in there. He's patient behind the line of scrimmage. Carter, though, you know, coming into this game the last couple of weeks was averaging 7.1 yards a carry. So there are some good things happening in this in the Indianapolis offense.
Painter with time, but all of a sudden the time disappears. He's in the grasp, and there's the sack. Corey Peters with his 3rd sack of the season, and the quick pressure there by Abraham, a loss of 12.
Well, Brian Van Gorder gets him in a 3rd and long, and he brings a guy off the slot again. It's the second time we've seen this now. You get Abraham up, you get the safety underneath. Costanza can't handle Abraham on the edge. We get a sack. It's just critical that that Indianapolis do the best job they can of staying out of those 3rd and longs so they don't invite the pressure that Atlanta's bringing.
Great hang time by McAfee. He leads the NFL in hang time. And a big hit there on Weems, hustling down there. Philip Wheeler. 59 yards on the punt, 14 yards on the return. Well, Fox Sports is proud to support the Armed Forces Foundation. The foundation offers vital assistance to service members and their families through financial, recreational, and emotional support. Please support America's heroes by serving those who serve us. For more information, please visit armedforcesfoundation.org. 3:56, 1st and 10 for Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Pump fake, give to Turner. Play action to Turner. And a nice throw deep. Boy, fooled everybody. That's Roddy White. And Roddy White with a big play. Kevin Thomas on the coverage.
Well, you know, you say, well, how does Matt Ryan have as much time as he does to let Roddy White get all the way across the field like he did that? They kept 9 guys in. They released 1, all right? And that's going to give your quarterback time. And Roddy White can run. And when you send him all the way across the field like that against man coverage, eventually he's just going to outrun that corner.
33 yards on the pass play. Back to Turner on the ground. A pickup of 1.
You know, Ronnie, yesterday when we met with Matt Ryan, he just continues to impress. His attitude, his mindset, his leadership ability. This guy is a winner. You know, he's always been a winner. And his statistics this year might not be what everyone thought that they'd be coming in. You know, everyone expects him to make these monumental jumps every year in terms of production. But the one thing about Matt Ryan, he's poised, and he's a winner, and his teammates really believe in him.
2nd and 9. Ryan skips it, but a flag goes down.
Holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's the tackle, Svitek.
When you look at the regular season QB win percentage, and some pretty good names there, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, and then Matt Ryan. He's won almost 70% of his regular season games since 2008. I think that speaks a lot for the kid. Not having what you call a stellar year this year, they're 4-3, but you wouldn't sense it in talking to this guy. Still playing with a lot of confidence, and his teammates have a lot of confidence in him.
2nd and long. Rodgers across the formation. He can dance in open field, but not that well. Great job in the open field by Robert Mathis. That's a loss of 5.
Well, now you're looking at a 3rd and real long, and you've got 2 really good defensive ends in Freeney and Mathis. Don't be surprised here if you see some type of draw or screen, because the last thing the Falcons want to do right now as the second quarter and the first half winds down with a 21-7 lead is let something bad happen. Sack, pause fumble, interception. They're going to let it go to the 2-minute here.
The 2-minute warning. It started off all Atlanta. The Colts trying to get something going. Under the 2-minute warning, 21-7 Falcons. Quick throw, Rodgers with a nice move, and Rodgers still going. Rodgers is not down yet. Boy, that's something we've seen him do on tape. He does it so well. 5'6", but he keeps his engine running. Very strong runner, 16 yards.
Mike Smith said the guy, you know, he looks like a bowling ball. You know, you see a guy that's 5'6", so you say, well, he's small. Okay, he's not small, he's short. All right, there's a difference between being small and short. He's got really powerful hips. You saw it there. He's like a bowling ball just going down the lane and hitting the pins, and he ain't done until he hits the back of the lane. What do they call that thing at the back of the lane? I always hit the gutter.
Timeout called by the Colts. They have 2 left. The Falcons have 2 left.
Yeah, I don't know about that call right there. And typically you'd say, yeah, let's call a timeout and let's try to get something going on offense. But the way the Colts offense is playing right now, they're risking giving the Atlanta Falcons a chance to come on the field on offense again, because the Falcons still have 2 timeouts. I think I would let it run.
Bosher will try to kill this one inside the 10. High kick. Garcon. Wise choice, gets away from it, and a nice roll for the Falcons. This one will fall dead at about the 2-yard line. 41 yards on the punt. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee to see what's up for the Visa Halftime Report.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, all the folks in the control room will make sure we have all the scores and highlights from you, including a big matchup between the Jets and the Bills. But of course, in this economy, guys, the more you can do, the more important you'll have. See, prime example. Back to you.
Oh boy, I don't want to see anything or know anything more about that right there.
The Glaze will have fun. He enjoys life.
Those guys love each other back there.
We all love each other in the Fox family, don't we, Ronnie?
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to give you a kiss, I promise.
Thank you.
Tell you what, Matt Ryan, you might want to go over there and kiss Julio Jones.
Yeah.
If they run it here now, watch for the Falcons to make a quick timeout call.
They set up Collie to block backside. Brown, boy, hit and had to spin out of the end zone. Babineau knifed through, but it's still a loss of 1.
Atlanta, their second, 30-second
Timeout called by Atlanta. They'll have 1 left.
Mike Smith doing a good job with clock management there. He's got him backed up. All right, he's still got 1 timeout, 1:25 left. He's got a real chance now to get his offense back on the field, but not just on the field, but with field position. So they've got a chance now. Atlanta's assuming they get a stop here. If they run it again now, look for them to another quick timeout call. So that's why I was kind of questioning there if Indy was making the right decision in stopping the clock before the punt. When you consider field position and the way their offense is playing.
2nd and 11, back door. Brown just getting some breathing room, pushes it out to about the 5-yard line. Weatherspoon with the tackle, and a final timeout now by Atlanta. So Atlanta, as we're mentioning here, hoping to get the ball back with a chance to score. And he said
he's smirking. He knows what he's doing. I'll tell you what's funny about Mike Smith. I did a game last year where they were playing Pittsburgh, and you'll see what he'll do now is he's a lot closer to the officials because he was trying to run down the field to call a timeout, a quick timeout. He pulled his hamstring. Okay, he pulled his hammy, so he learned from that. He learned from that, so now he stays a lot closer to the officials when he's getting ready to time out, so he didn't have to make that burst that laid him up for a couple of days. We talked about Sean Payton getting hurt. There's another coach that got hurt.
Can you imagine the ribbing he got in the meeting room on Monday morning after that one? Garcon going backwards, now forward. He'll fall just shy of the 10-yard line, a pickup of 3. And the Colts will punt it away with 1 minute left and the clock running.
So the Falcons are going to get a good 30 seconds.
They're going to get it right.
They've got no timeouts, but they should have pretty good field position. And we know that they've got a really explosive punt returner back there. So this will be exciting here to see what happens here as we close out the first half.
Weems is back deep. Last week against Tennessee, the Colts had a punt block in their red zone, similar situation as this.
And that's smart. That's gamesmanship right there by Jim Caldwell. He's got 2 timeouts left. Rather than take the penalty, you can't take the penalty there. No, you can't give him the extra yards. That could be the difference in attempting the field goal and not attempting a field goal. So rather than snap it at 1 second and put that on your team on the field to make sure, hey, let's only snap it at 1 second, he says, let's call a timeout at 1 second. Let's reorganize ourselves and let's punt it and cover. Just a couple good, smart coaching moves. Basic coaching moves, but smart coaching moves.
McAfee known for good hang time. Gets off a good one there. It hangs. A fair catch called at the 39-yard line by Weems. 53 yards on the punt. Well, Fox tonight, Hollywood's biggest stars are on Animation Domination. Don't miss an all-new star-studded spectacular with Ryan Reynolds, Jane Lynch, Jonah Hill as Alan Gregory. All new Animation Domination starting tonight at 8, 7 Central on Fox. 28 seconds left. No timeouts for the Falcons.
Great punt by McAfee. You talked about his hang. Every one of his punts today have been outstanding. Angling it to the sideline, putting it high down the middle. I don't know about that hairdo, but I'll tell you what, the kid can kick it.
You saw that yards per completion average there by the Falcons. You can thank Julio Jones for that one. Freeney with a nice jump. Can't get there. Long out route, way too long and wide. Ryan trying to hit the corner of the plate on that one.
Watch Roddy White here. They're playing versus a real soft zone, good inside cut, and then gets the corner turned around. If this ball is just a little bit lower on time, that's a big game that gets him in field position.
Oh, as a corner now, you got to know in this situation with no timeouts, They're either going to try to hit the home run Hail Mary or they're going to work the sidelines deep.
Well, the key thing is you got to keep your hips square. When you get your hips turned against a guy like Roddy White and he gets behind you.
Look at that stunt there by the Colts. They bring two around to the left side, and it's a pick. No! Can't hold on. In and out of the hands of Gerard Powers, who's already got one pick six on the day. 15 seconds left. That was almost that mistake.
Wow, he elevates. Just does a great job, Powers, here, sticking with it. No!
And he
so
almost
close.
kicked it.
Well, that would have given him another chance.
Okay. So now if you're Mike Mularkey, after seeing that and you're having your heart nearly stop.
Sling it down the field to Julio Jones. How about that?
Or do you just sit on it? There they go, and that one should have been picked off. Okay, now do you just sit on it?
Now you punt it.
Now you punt it. So two near interceptions. First Powers, then Antoine Bethea, who got a nice break out of the safety position.
Really, you know, here's what's impressive to me right now as we go to, first of all, look at the spin move by Free on the left side of your screen. Oh my goodness, what a move. But since the interception, the pick six, this defense has really played well for Indianapolis. They're fighting their tails off.
Bosher on the punt, they're coming after it. And the protection is great, and a nice punt by Bosher. He puts that one out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Right at the 5-yard stripe. 55 yards on the punt. Time expires on the punt. And we'll go in with a 2-score game. That's the end of the first half. Atlanta 21 to Indianapolis 7. We'll be back right after these messages. All right, Kurt, thank you very much. 21-7 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Falcons in control. Ron Pitts, Jim Moore. The guys in the studio are right. So far, it's been the Julio Jones show, whether his legs are underneath him or not. It looks like his legs are just okay to me.
He's an amazing player. I want to go back to what Michael Strahan said, because I think he brings up a really good point. People say, well, Peyton Manning didn't play defense, but essentially he did play defense because he kept their defense on the field and he kept them playing with a lead where they could just go after the passer. And they're missing that right now, and it's hurting them. And you're seeing Atlanta able to pound the football out of them a little bit. But I tell you what, Julio Jones is a pleasure to watch. I hope they throw the ball to him a little bit more in the second half, because he does amazing things when he's got it in his hands. He's big, he's fast, he's physical, he's got so much confidence. What a player.
Don't forget to follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And another guy that's been pretty solid up front for the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Turner. No surprise, they started off pounding him. 11 carries, 47 yards, 4.3 yards a rush.
Well, the thing about him is he just wears you down, and you keep pounding him. You might have a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, and then all of a sudden he breaks a 50-yarder.
That kick is out of the end zone. Let's go down to Drea Avent.
Hi, Ron. Well, I talked to Coach Smith, and of course he's absolutely elated with the way Julio Jones is playing, but he says we need to run the ball better so we can set up the play-action passing game better. So that's something that he's looking for moving forward, and he also wants the run defense to step their game up. And as far as Coach Caldwell is concerned, he kept all of his comments to me about defense. He said the pick six was critical. It really raised the level of their game. He wants that to continue. He does want their run defense to step up as well, and he also said we need to limit the big plays, guys, so we'll see what happens.
All right, thank you very much. Drea, 1st and 10, ball to 20. Turner. Jimmy, you just talked about the early dose of Turner. Well, they start off with it. That's 5 yards. There's not a offensive coordinator in the league that won't take that.
Now, you know, it's interesting to listen to Drea, and she's talking to these coaches, and when you think about, at least when I think about the Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons, I think about a couple of teams that really have explosive players on the outside catching the ball in the air in the passing game, and yet both coaches are talking about the run game. You know, Coach Smith says we got to run it better, we got to stop the run better. Obviously, Coach Caldwell's talking about that takeaway, invigorating the team and stopping the run. So it's good to see some good old-fashioned football here.
That's Gonzalez, ball out hot, and Gonzalez very close to the first down. That's 101 consecutive games with a catch now for Tony Gonzalez.
You know, we talked to him yesterday, and, you know, we know he's going to camp, okay? The guy's, there's no way he's not going to camp, but the thing that's so impressive about him is his discipline to his craft. What a tremendous work ethic he has, how he takes care of his body, how he gets out before practice every day and catches 50 passes and stays after and catches 50 passes. And it's rubbing off, Ronnie, on the young guys, because he said this, he says, you know, I've always done this. My whole career, I've done this, and that's one of the things that's helped me become the player I've become. He said, but you know what's fun to see is now Julio Jones is coming out and catching the ball with me. And now Roddy White's coming out and catching the ball with me. And now all of a sudden I see some of the young defensive linemen over there working on the sled. And this is all pre-practice and post-practice stuff. When a guy like that, a 15-year veteran, a great player does that, leads by example that way, that's invaluable to a coach.
And that's 171 consecutive games, straight games with a catch.
Defense number 93, 5-yard penalty, first down, 5 yards to go.
Freeney got a little anxious. Here's a look at the first half numbers. Boy, a little trickeration there. It looked as though Ryan wanted to give the ball to Turner.
I've never seen that before.
Busted play or a trick play? What do you think? Caldwell with the early pressure.
And here they're going into the no huddle, and they'll do this on offense. The Falcons will, when they're stalled a little bit, they give the keys to Matt Ryan. So here's a little no huddle.
It's a loss of 2. Turner picking his way, taking it head on. Just shy of the first down. They'll mark him out at about the 39-yard line. He picks up 6.
Ronnie, I mentioned that they moved into a little bit of a no-huddle mentality here. And when you talk to Mike Mularkey and you talk to Matt Ryan, you realize that he operates at his best when he's able to stand up behind the center. Now, it's not a fast no-huddle, but stand behind the center and kind of get a feel for what the defense is doing, because the defense is forced to move pre-snap. And so Matt gets a pre-snap read that gets him in the right play.
3rd and short. They'll throw it, pressure sack. Philip Wheeler. That's his first sack of the season.
Kind of a surprising play call for me, Ronnie. You watch here the blitz up the middle, but you know, they're talking about wanting to pound the football, and then they come out and they try to throw it on 3rd and short. Now, obviously, they felt that there was something there, and there were tendencies that they were working off of, but really a nice rush. The right guard struggled to work down there, and just a really good defensive play. Another good stop for the Colts.
So the defense has made the big plays today, and they're responsible for the Colts' only points. Now they force the turnover on the punt. Great coverage there by the Falcons. Weems leads the charge, 42 yards on the punt. No return. Colts defense came to play.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee. By Chase. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
So 1st and 10 for Curtis Painter. Ball just beyond the 20-yard line. Steps up, looking for the crosser. That nearly intercepted. And Tammy screaming for a flag.
That was just good coverage by Witherspoon. I mean, he just rode him down inside, covered him tight. Really, really nice job. The one thing I saw on that play that I liked is I saw Painter at least step up into the pocket.
Second and 10, the crosser. That ball is loose, picked up. Pauly not able to hold on. Hit there again, another nice play. Sean Witherspoon.
Sean Witherspoon is an active player, a good young player, a rising player in this league. He plays with a great amount of emotion, enthusiasm, good blitzer, good in coverage, does everything well. And now, for the Colts, now they find themselves in another 3rd and long. Potential pressure up the middle with the 2 linebackers. Probably going to drop back into some zone coverage here, though.
Pressure coming on the corner. They pick it up, the throw outside. And that's well shy of the first down. Tammy taken down again. Sean Witherspoon.
Well, there's 3 good plays for that guy.
Jacob Tammy getting a lot of run with the injury to Brody Elridge, who injured his hand in the first quarter. With a return, it's questionable, but Witherspoon all over the field today. A busy day, a busy year really for McAfee. But the way the offense has performed, he punts it away. Weems at about the 24 is hit hard. 51 yards on the punt, 5 yards on the return, and Moten takes him down. A fired up Witherspoon. 10:22 here in the 3rd. The Falcons will take over. Ball spotted at about the 27-yard line. The Colts defense has risen up. And they have played well since the first quarter. Quick turns. And that'll be about 9 yards. That's the backup tight end, Michael Palmer.
Watch the matchup here between, and this is the tight end, but you're going to see Freeney here and then Claybo coming out late. Watch the cut block right there. I'm sorry, that's Svitek. The cut block does that because they're trying to throw the ball quick to the outside right there to the tight end. You want that defensive end to have to put his hands down to defend himself from the chop block. Can't get his hands up to knock the ball down because that quick throw is going to be low trajectory. Good job by Svitek there. He's got a tough duty today.
Good explanation by you. Quick toss, Rogers with a nice cut. Goes head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet on Bethea. Bethea gets up smarting a little bit, a pickup of 3. Boy, that was an exciting 3-yard run.
This kid is powerful. You know, when you look at his size, he's listed at 5'6", 196 pounds. But he runs hard, he runs downhill, he's leaning into it. Watch him drop his shoulder there and stand Bethea up.
Well, that's good technique really by Bethea as well.
It really is a good tackle.
Yep.
That's how you want to teach kids to tackle right there in the open field. Chest to chest, up high, wrap him, drive him back.
Drive the feet. Fake draw, going deep. Gonzalez comes up with the catch inside Colts territory. A pickup of 20.
That's a nice ball by Matt Ryan. Good protection up front. And then watch Gonzalez's route here. If you call this a shake route or a bake route, just up, give a little lean to the outside, and you drop it right over the top of the linebacker, right inside the corner. Sometimes that's the problem with zone coverage. You get a smaller corner matched up on a bigger tight end, and they just can't close fast enough or be big enough to make the play around them.
That's where Gonzalez starts playing basketball in there. No basketball here. This is just straight wrestling. WWF style. Turner lowering his shoulder, running straight ahead. Caldwell finally brings him down.
Well, you know, Ron, that's what he is. This guy is a power runner that when he gets to the second level, meaning he breaks that first line of defense, he can make it happen in a big-time way. We already mentioned he's got 3 runs of plus 50 yards this year, but he's good between the tackles. He's good in the open field. And I love the way they use him. They'll bring in an extra offensive lineman. They'll go unbalanced. You know, they'll bring in some big, powerful guys and just try to run downhill on you.
Second and 1, waist down, as they say, a chance to go up top. It's not there, checks it down to Turner. Turner will have the easy first as he works inside the Colts' 25-yard line. So the Falcons now with a nice drive. That one good for 7 yards.
Just a real well thought out drive. And there's a look at Gonzalez. And he's a guy you want to keep your eye on when you get down in here to the big red zone. That's kind of the area between the 20 and the 30. So you're going to get some coverages that open up the middle, try to focus on the outside guys. And he does a really nice job of working against the zones.
Double fake. Looking at the corner, Gonzalez. He's in front of the first down marker, then leans forward and gets the first down. Only his third catch of the day, but boy, all of them have been money catches, and you look to see where he ranks among some of the best that have ever played the game, notably the guy in front of him, Jerry Rice.
I really like what Atlanta's doing offensively now with Gonzalez. Ron, what they're doing is they're taking both receivers, putting them away from Tony. And you're seeing that formation again here. And it leaves him isolated. First of all, it defines the coverage for Matt Ryan, and it leaves Gonzalez matched up on either a safety or a corner deep.
Reggie Kelly checks in. He sets up in the backfield. Straight ahead, that's Turner. But you know what, Jimmy, this is what makes the Falcons such a sexy pick when you're talking about who's going to be there at the end of the season. They've got the tight end. He controls the middle of your field. You want to have that as an offense. And you've got the power run game. And then you've got the speed outside, especially with Julio Jones now getting back into the flow.
Right, and you've got a young quarterback who's only going to get better as the season goes on. Sure, he's been a little inconsistent this year, but we know this about Matt Ryan. When he is in a tough game, he rises up and plays well.
Turner almost stuck in the backfield. Somehow gets yards out of it, only 2, but it's the positive yard. Freeney wrapped him up. Falcons eating up most of the clock here now in the third quarter on this drive. Big third down coming up for them. They've eaten up almost 5 minutes on the drive, a 3rd and 9. Rodgers in the backfield. The window's open, that's right, like clockwork. Ryan always knows where to go with the football.
Well, they're doing a really nice job of getting rid of the ball quickly because they realize that with Svitek over there on Freeney, okay, over here, that he's not going to be able to hold him off for very long. So Matt Ryan, boy, quick 3 and then get rid of it. You saw there, if he had held the ball any longer, he had Freeney coming off his backside. So really good game planning. You can't always double a guy. Sometimes you just got to drop back and throw it quick, and they did a nice job there.
Gonzalez and White on the left side. That's Gonzalez in motion. They'll go right. The cut by Turner, and he's down at the inch line. Then they push it back to about a full yard.
You know, running the football is not just about the offensive line. Sometimes you ask your receivers to come down here and get involved in the dirty work. Watch Julio Jones right there, the crack block. They call that a crack block when you start on the outside and you come down and either hit a linebacker or a defensive back. Antoine Bethea felt that 6'3", 225 that Julio brings.
Turner stopped, still going, trying to lunge forward, but can't quite get there.
This defense, Ronnie, is playing well. Now, this has been a tough drive for them, but you know what? There's no quit in these guys. And I think that's a testament to a couple things. Number one, their coaches. You know, keeping them involved, keeping them focused, giving them hope. And then the veteran players on that team saying, you know what? No matter what the record is, we're going to play hard. We're going to play our tails off every single snap.
Anger wrapped them up toward it, the touchdown. Play action. Got one in the corner, but instead he goes to Gonzalez for the easy 6. Tony Gonzalez with his 5th touchdown of the season, and that was almost a perfect drive by the Falcons.
We call this NFL pass. You take a guy to the corner, you block Gonzalez, and then you release him to the flat, and he should be wide open. You work on that all the time in short yardage and goal line, but it still gets you.
Extra point is clean. 93rd career touchdown for Tony Gonzalez. And heck, forget near perfect, that was perfect. This Saturday, Fox Sports steps into the octagon with an epic heavyweight title fight. #1 ranked contender in the world, Junior Dos Santos, squaring off with the undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez. A must-see event only on Fox. Dos Santos, Vasquez for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. That's live Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Fox. Hey, forget near perfect, I'll call it perfect. 12 plays, 73 yards, and you chew up almost 8 minutes. You see anything wrong with that drive?
That's a good way to start a half.
Short kick. Lefebvre finally winds up with it inside the 10. He's going sideways. That's never a good deal. When in doubt, go to arguably the best that's ever played the position. A look at our offensive leaders. There's Curtis Painter. The last 6 possessions for the Colts have resulted in 6 punts.
Yeah, they're struggling a little bit, Ronnie. Is that an understatement?
Slightly.
And I like this kid, and I think he's got some potential, but it's a tough road for him right now. You know, he's inexperienced. They've struggled on defense up to this point, and they just can't seem to find any rhythm offensively.
DeLon Carter steps back in at the running back spot. He was taken out after the first quarter as flags fly.
False start. Offense number 67, 5-yard penalty. It's still first.
That's Mike Tepper. Don't forget to get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Just call ** NFL right now. So Carter started the game, fumbled the opening series that led to a quick 7 by the Falcons. He was replaced by Donald Brown. This is his first action since. He gets the draw, tries it off tackle, then heads back inside. Witherspoon is there. That's a loss of 1.
Well, I think it's good to get him back in there. He's a young guy. He shows promise. He's done some good things. And, yeah, he fumbled early, and then Donald Brown came in and has been running well. But you need to get this guy back involved because you don't want him to lose confidence.
Kelvin Hayden also involved in the tackle. There's another tackle. Wayne Witherspoon again.
I think what Jim Caldwell needs to see from here on out with his team, when you're down 21 points at home, you're 0-8, is you got to see if these guys will continue to fight. So far this year, that has not been a problem at all. And I don't think it'll be a problem today either. But you, as a coach, you want to see your team continue to play hard, to play with grit, to fight it out, to play with some enthusiasm, to overcome what is obviously a very, very difficult situation.
Well, he said one of the positives was you get a chance to look at some young faces. I don't know that this is the ideal situation with that man on the bench to look at young faces and new faces, but as you say, you will get a chance to see who wants to keep playing and who will quit on you.
Well, and Jim Caldwell said as much yesterday. As he said, you know, if there's a silver lining in all of this and the injuries that we've had, you know, the decisions we've made in personnel, it's the fact that I'm getting to find out about some young guys. I'm getting to find out whether or not these guys have what it takes to be players in the NFL that you can win with. Now, certainly, they're certainly, you know, they're not winning right now. What you hope doesn't happen is that they get used to losing. But I have to believe with guys like Peyton Manning on the sideline and Dwight Freeney and guys like that, they're not going to let that creep into their locker room.
So McAfee will punt it away at the 5-yard line. High kick, angling toward the sideline a little bit, running right up the numbers. And they'll down it at the 36-yard line. 28-7, Falcons in control, winding down the third quarter. The Falcons rated Matt Ryan a #1 quarterback in that draft back in 08. 2.5-year starter at BC. He won a lot of games, 24-7. The winning continuing with the Falcons. That's Rodgers and a little extra on the sideline there. Falcons saying, give us the flag. That's Ernie Sims.
When you look at that little piece on Matt Ryan, he looks the same in high school as he does now as an NFL player in terms of the look on his face. Poise, confidence, conviction, under control. You get the feeling that this guy's entire life he's been a leader, a great leader, a guy that guys gravitate to, a guy that doesn't get flustered when things aren't going well. It just keeps pushing on. I love that about this guy.
A pickup of 8 for Rodgers on the last play. The quick slant to the man who's been everything today. The ball is loose. It's picked up. They are blowing it dead. That ball picked up there by Philip Wheeler, but the play was blown dead.
Call that a strike route or a smoke route. It's just a little quick. It's not even an up the field slant. It's just down the line slant.
As a runner's forward progress was stopped. Third down.
You heard Mike Carey come on and say his forward progress was stopped. Thus, no fumble on the play.
And it was stopped. Here's the problem with that. With Julio Jones, you know, he's so big and so strong and so physical. He can get out of just about anything.
That is the end of the third quarter. Falcons up comfortably. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. We start the fourth quarter here in Indianapolis. Ron Pitts, Jim Moore, Drea Avent down on the sidelines. It's all about the Atlanta Falcons. They got an early turnover to start the game and have kept it moving ever since. 3rd and 1. And that looks to be an easy conversion. A pickup of 2 by Turner.
How about the power? Because that was stuffed up in there. He's a big, powerful guy. And I keep saying this, but what's so impressive about him is his ability to run between the tackles with power, like you just saw there, but also that ability when he gets into the open field to be elusive and then turn on the speed and go the distance.
4 years as a backup out in San Diego, signed the big contract in 08 with the Falcons, $34.5 million to be the man, and he has been the man.
And they're back to their no huddle, but don't be surprised because they're still snapping the ball with under 5 seconds left on the play clock.
Switch it up, give Snelling a little run, and Snelling will push it down about 2 yards shy of the first down. Turner on the day, 19 carries for 73 yards. We talked about his yard per carry average coming into the game, close to 5 yards per carry points. As a coordinator, Jimmy, what do you call when you're constantly looking at 2nd and 5?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. No, you still, against a team like this, you still got to stack the box. You've got to hope that your corners can hold up outside, because the thing about Michael Turner is he becomes at his most dangerous in the fourth quarter when he started to wear you down.
Seam throw, a high grab there, Roddy White, and he'll move the chains. Let's go to Los Angeles for an update. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Jets beginning to open things up in their AFC East battle with Buffalo. Mark Sanchez hooking up with Santonio Holmes. Jets led it only 3-0 at halftime, but right now they're in the fourth quarter up 20-3. Ron and Jim.
Big game in the division. The Jets going in 4-3. The Bills on top. They're tied with the Patriots at 5-2. Thus far, the Jets taking care of business.
Yep, single.
End around. They ran this earlier in the game. Jones, he had success with it. Success again inside the 10-yard line. So a healthy Julio Jones making all the difference today for the Atlanta Falcons.
It's just so rare, and watch him here on the reverse, but it's so rare to see a guy with this combination of speed and smooth speed, and then watch the power at the end. I mean, he doesn't go down easy now. Got great vision. He's directing traffic. He's always driving forward. That's not the kind of guy you want to see in the open field if you're a corner.
19 yards. Snelling around the left side. He cuts plants. We'll get it down to about the 4.
You might ask yourself, why is Atlanta running a no huddle with a 21-point lead in the 4th quarter? Okay, but it's not your typical no huddle. It's not a no huddle where you're trying to go fast paced. They're still snapping the ball at under 5 seconds left on the play clock. What it's doing is it's giving, now they're not no huddle right now. They're huddling because they're inside the 5-yard line, so it's a different scenario. But they're trying to give Matt Ryan an opportunity to get to the line of scrimmage, survey the defense, and then call the perfect play for what he sees. So Mike Mularkey says, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you the keys now. You drive for a little bit.
The toss to Rodgers. Rodgers chopped down. Wheeler was already on the ground, but he was able to get a leg.
Good play by Wheeler. Wheeler's made a couple of good plays today. Obviously the sack on 3rd and 1, and then you see him there flowing to the outside.
You notice the formations. Mike Mularkey doing a good job of throwing a lot of different looks at the Colts. I mean, back in Pittsburgh when he was there with their staff, they used to call him Inspector Gadget because he would pull out some trick plays on you every now and then, some different looks.
Well, different personnel groups, different formations, different motions, and then different plays. And you said the gimmicks, he's always been really good at running the gimmick stuff.
We've seen a couple end arounds today. 3rd and goal throw. Ryan has completed 9 in a row. It'll stop on that one, wisely throwing that ball away. He will preserve the points here in the red zone. Dwight Freeney on the pressure.
See, that's what I like about Matt Ryan and his development is, you know, people look at his numbers this year and they're not exactly what they've been. But that right there is a very smart play, and it's going to fit. Now, he's headed to the locker room, which is...
Yeah, he may have...
but what I'm saying is that, you know, that's going to hurt his percentage, okay, and it's going to hurt his rating, but it's a smart play. He's an unselfish player.
So Bryant, that is now 28 consecutive field goals for him. As Ryan goes off, that's the 20-yarder. And the Falcons taking care of business with 10:15 to play here in Indianapolis.
Today's game is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. By UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
31-7, 10:15 to play here in Indianapolis. Atlanta is taking control of this one. A couple nice drives, and Matt Ryan, who's gone into the locker room, we'll try to get an update from him. But he has been nearly perfect for most of the game. That one sat down, and they say it is an equipment problem. Looks like his equipment's working okay to me. So the equipment is fixed. Matt Ryan back out on the field.
Do you see that guy running behind him in the gray? That's their equipment manager, Brian Boigner. Pretty good stride.
Change at quarterback. Dan Orlovsky checks in now, 7th-year man out of Connecticut. He'll hand it off to Donald Brown. Brown with a nice run and a first down. Orlovsky, he's had action in one game this season. That's week 7 against the Saints. Went 3 for 5 for 35 yards. He's an old wily vet. Backed up a couple places. 31-7 game. They're going to give him a little run. And he'll hand it off again. Call it 3. So Painter, yeah, he goes to
the clipboard.
The clipboard and the earplug, and that signifies your day. tough position to be in now. And nobody's going to give you the credit until you actually light up the scoreboard. And with Peyton Manning on the sideline, you're always going to want Peyton back on the field, and justly so. He's put the hardware inside the Colts office. There's a throw and a hit. Reggie Wayne. Dante Robinson applying the wood. Let's go to Los Angeles for an update. Here's Kirk Menefee.
Well, Colts fans will like this. Maybe a little separation between Indy and Miami for that top draft pick. Reggie Bush, 136 total yards, including the 28-yard score. And the Dolphins are cruising 31-3 over KC, Ron and Jim.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. 3rd down and 3 throw, and that's dropped in and out of the hands of Brown. An easy 1st down, and that pretty much typifies the year for the Colts.
Took his eyes off it, started to look up the field. Watch him here right before he looks it in. Young guys, you got to look the football in. Takes his eyes off it. What would have been a 1st down ends up being a punting situation. You're right, Ronnie. It's those little things. It's those little things that make such a big difference in a game. Make such a big difference between a team that maybe is 4-4 and instead is 0-8. You know, we knew they were going to struggle a little bit without Peyton Manning. We didn't know it was going to be this dramatic. It's those little indicators right there, and that's what becomes so frustrating.
McAfee won the punt, pass, and kick as a youngster back in 2003. Well, it's a good thing because they have had to use his leg this year. That's a 60-yarder, and it's out of the end zone for a touchback.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost.
8:34 to play here in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan stays in the game, 31-7 lead by the Falcons. Fake the throw, quick give. That's to Quiz Rogers, and Rogers will drive it up to the 25-yard line. Wheeler is there for the tackle. You know, Mike Smith said all week long during the bye week, and really few coaches have been better coming off of a bye week than he has in his tenure here. 3 areas that we had to focus on getting better at. 1st down efficiency on offense, 3rd down defense, and penalties. They've done that on 1st down. 21 total 1st downs by the Falcons. Defensively, they have held the Colts 3 of 12 on 3rd down. Penalties, 1 penalty thus far in the game. And that's an area they had struggled leading up to this game. Rogers falls forward for the 1st down. And a look at the NFC South. Right now, the New Orleans Saints comfortable up over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-9. A win by the Saints really doesn't help Atlanta much.
No, but they stay there, and Atlanta moves to here at 5-3. Tampa goes to 4-4, and these guys are right in it.
As we mentioned earlier, boy, a log jam in a division realigned a few years back. All of a sudden, that division is turned into a hot one year in, year out. Looked like movement early by Brayton on the top of your screen. Somebody loses a lid.
Ronnie, you mentioned, we've got a flag here, but you mentioned the focus during the bye week. And
Offside, defense number 96. 5-yard penalty, 1st down, 5 yards to go.
That is Brayton. Go ahead, Jimmy.
well, Mike Smith gave his players the entire week off because he felt like he had a tired football team. When your coach gives you an entire week off and he asks you to improve in penalties and 3rd down on defense and 1st down efficiency, and you do it the next week, the next year you're just going, hey, we're going to get another week off because he asked us to do it and we did it. So you're fired up, man. They'll be talking about that in the locker room after this game.
But an interesting assessment by Smith, and one that I don't know that a lot of head coaches would admit, because everyone wants to believe, as Rogers carries here, that they've got, number one, the strongest team in the league, the most in shape team in the league, the most mentally prepared team. But to say in our meeting room last night, my team was tired coming into the last game up there in Detroit.
Mike's got a great feel for his team, and he's a very honest man. And, you know, coaches are very realistic, and we never want to admit that there is a weakness on our team, but we know when there's a weakness on the team. And what he did is he took that bye week with his coaches. Now, he might have given the players a lot of time off, but his coaches, they still came in and they worked hard, and they identified areas that they needed to improve on to go on and be the kind of football team that we all think they're capable of becoming, which is a team that's there at the end, that's competing at the end of the year in the playoffs to potentially come right back here to Indianapolis and be a Super Bowl team.
The penalty issue, well chronicled. They had the fewest penalties in the NFL last season, but already through the midway point of the season, they had the most. Versus Detroit a couple of weeks ago, that was really the meltdown penalty-wise. They won the game, but penalty-wise sloppy. 11 penalties, 80 yards.
Well, he said they're looking for consistency. Today, I believe they've played a consistent football game. They've run the ball effectively. Certainly, they've made some big plays in the passing game. I think they've shown that they've got multiple running backs that can make a difference. Talking about, obviously, Turner. We see Snelling there. We saw Rodgers do some good things. Matt Ryan's been efficient. His numbers aren't great when you look at his completion percentage, but 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 274 yards. They've held the Colts to 168 yards. This is a very complete game for the Falcons, and one that they need now heading into the second half of their season so they can go in with confidence, feeling good about where they are and good about the direction they're headed in.
Mike Smith putting together some very solid seasons. 13-3 last season. 9-7 before that. And 11-5 his first year. LaFedge with a nice turnaround, dancing way too much, goes backwards. And that's where they'll blow it dead. 4-10. Discuss a little Peyton Manning when we get back. A look at Peyton Manning there, 3 neck surgeries in 19 months. The spinal fusion procedure. He had that September 8th to repair a damaged nerve that was causing weakness in his throwing arm. And he is still not 100%, and the talk as we see a flag go down has been whether or not there's any chance that Peyton Manning can get back on the field, whether it's this field or the practice field, by season's end. He signed a 5-year, $90 million contract in July.
Offense number 78.
That includes a $28 million option bonus due in February. If the team does not pay the option, Manning could become a free agent, an unrestricted free agent. And more on that. Let's go out to L.A., our expert insider, Mr. Jay Glazer. Jay, what's your take on this whole Manning issue here?
You know, this week I asked people close to Peyton and medical people, I said, when can he start throwing? They said, before you even think about him throwing, he still has to really regain muscle down his arm, in his trap. His pec, the regaining muscle, so that's a good thing. But he's still, until he regains, muscle where it atrophied, he can't even start throwing yet. That'll always set him back.
Jay, is this a situation? I mean, we're not talking about a knee. We're not talking about a bone here. We're talking about your neck and nerves and spine and all. One hit, that could be the end. Is that something that Peyton needs to seriously consider? Maybe it's not worth taking the chance to even come back from.
Well, originally the doctors I talked to said they would put him down for the year no matter what. And here's what they told me. They said, there's nobody on the planet who could tell you when Peyton Manning can come back. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. Because you're dealing with a neck and a nerve issue, you have no idea at all. It's really up to his individual body.
Well, Glaze, that being the case, if they end up winning the suck for luck sweepstakes, what do they do? And who ties your tie?
Here's what they're going to do. Here's it. You like that? I actually did that.
I used to have
to be
to tie
Howie
your
in the past,
ties.
but I've grown up. But hey, you used to do it in the past, Jimmy. But now here's the deal, guys. I asked people this also. I said, what's going to happen down the stretch here? They said the Colts will get an independent doctor to take a look at Peyton and see how much strength is actually returning. If not a lot is, then you got to cut him loose before they own that $28 million roster bonus. If enough strength is coming back, well, then you have to make a decision, obviously, between him and Luck and what you want to do.
It's a real gamble either way, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, it really is, again, because when you're dealing with the neck, guys, if they knew what they were talking about beforehand, he wouldn't have had to go back for yet another surgery. It's such an inexact science when you're dealing with the neck and all the nerves there.
Our insider, Jay Glazer. Jay, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Boy, it's interesting how fast the fans forget. You know, you look at this beautiful building here, and a Super Bowl's coming here, and there's already a trophy in the front office case, and you say, who brought all of that? Well,
Peyton Manning brought it all.
Right.
You know, we're so quick to discount somebody. You know, it's such a what have you done lately for me league, but you brought it up earlier, Ronnie. You look at this beautiful stadium that we're standing in right now, and this is Peyton Manning's stadium. He built this. He allowed for this thing to be built.
Well, Fox tomorrow, 85 million BC is a world of wonder and a world of danger when a meteor hit takes the colony's power down. Can they survive the night? Don't miss an all-new episode of television's biggest adventure, Terra Nova, tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only on Fox. Boy, and it was like a meteor hit here in Indianapolis when they knew Peyton Manning couldn't get back on the field. So Chris Redmond checks in to wind things down here. He'll hand it off to Snelling on the left side.
Oh, and they're already wearing their, you know, you talk, I mean, I guess it's funny, but I don't like it because I think it's disrespectful to Peyton Manning and all that he's done and all that he's meant, not only to this team, but to this city.
Well,
we were saying he didn't build this stadium with his hands, but his performance built this stadium. His performance brought recognition to this city and said, you know what, let's build a beautiful stadium that we can bring the Super Bowl to. I mean, he's meant so much to this team, to this organization, to this city. And rather than talking about Oliver Luck and moving on past Peyton Manning, I'd rather celebrate the great things he's done and the great person he is.
Yeah,
Andrew, like I said, Oliver,
question.
I guess you probably don't want Oliver Luck being your quarterback anymore.
Andrew Luck is the man that everybody's talking about. Out to Los Angeles for an update, Kurt Menefee.
NFC South matchup, Saints and Bucks. Bucks getting close. Josh Freeman hooking up with Kellen Winslow, 5-yard score, 5.5 minutes to left. They're within a touchdown or 2-point conversion. Ron and Jim.
2-minute warning.
All right, Kurt, that is the 2-minute warning. 31-7 Falcons. So Redmond has stepped in a couple plays here. He's going to finish this thing out. You want to talk about upside now. You look at the Falcons, and just in terms of their depth, that man right there, the other man right there, Rodgers, every time you see him touch the ball, you think he's going to score.
Well, he's got really good quickness, acceleration, burst, and then for a shorter guy, a smaller guy, like I said earlier, he's not small, he's just short. He's got power. He's got leverage. He can get underneath you and roll those hips up on you. Fun kid to watch.
So the Falcons will punt it away. 3 home games in a row coming up now for Atlanta. They'll have the Saints' huge division matchup. Then they'll have Tennessee, and then they'll have the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, this is how you want to go into a game versus New Orleans. You come off a big-time win against Detroit. You get a bye week, and you get yourself healthy. And then you go on the road and you kick the dog out of a team that you should beat handily, and you beat them in every way possible. Now you get to go home with, like you said, a big game against New Orleans. They get a win there, and you look at their schedule now. There's some games that are very winnable that they should win. Save that Houston game. Now Houston's a good football team.
That's right. And on the other side, the Colts, they've got a much-needed bye coming up after they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars here at home next week. Then they'll reopen with the Panthers at home, and then back on the road with the New England Patriots. The producer of today's game is P.T. Navarro. The director, Derek Manning. The associate director is Bill Cullen. The broadcast associate is Paul Mamaro. The studio show produced by Bill Richards and directed by Bob Levy. My statistician, Mitch Smith. My spotter, Seth Jacobson.
Those guys do one heck of a job. I don't know if there's a better producer in the game of football than P.T. Navarro.
Does a good job. 2nd and 7. They'll throw it outside. And that'll make it all but academic here. Don't forget, America's Game of the Week. You'll get one of three. The Giants taking on the Patriots in Foxborough. Or the world champion Green Bay Packers going out west to take on a San Diego Charger team after that debacle on Monday. They need a win big time. Or you'll see the Rams taking on the Cardinals. That's the final. The Falcons with a big win. Right now, let's go to the AT&T Game Break Show in the studio. Here's Kurt Menefee.